My challenge today, in 1,000 words or less, which is, so you know, half of what I usually write, is to talk about ministry, a topic that deserves far more consideration than I am about to give it. Ministry is wide and deep, and today is a great example of different models of ministry alive and well, even in our own community. Yvonne is in seminary. She works with Teamsters professionally, but is adding a religious lens to the way she engages the work of labor. Janice Marie is our commissioned lay minister, bringing her skills to our Friday evening meditations, our Sunday centering, and helping us inspire a community of care in our congregation. Brother Zachary is a Catholic priest and is attentive to us in our most vulnerable moments, leading the way in pastoral care. And while I wasn't going to embarrass her, I will anyway. Do you know that Christina is also a ministry in her own right, and she's in ministry of music outside of here more formally, but very clearly is right here in a profound ministry of care and love, both through music and her presence. They see it. And here I am called to a public ministry of preaching, writing, justice making, among other things. And of course, that's just a few of us that are sitting here. There are many more of us in the room. Jill is here, Jerry is here. There are so many of us in this room, but of course, see above, wide, deep, and 1,000 words. I often say clergy are the white blood cells of the world, the people who rush to the most wounded places like borders and war zones, bringing healing and hope. But that's just one aspect. Ministry is also one of daily and long-term accompaniment, of companionship. It's also public leadership in the creation of just structures so people can thrive. It's a personal commitment to living ethically, conscientiously, as an experiment, as a demonstration, and also as a way of building health into a system. Ministry is a calling, but it's also a choice. If we accept it, we are agreeing to allowing our lives to become fishbowls where others watch, sometimes in search of models, sometimes in search of confirmation of imperfection. We are lightning rods, attracting anger and blame. We are punching bags. We are servants by choice. We are also ministers. I'm sorry, that's also true. We are also mirrors, hoping to reflect back beauty to itself. And at our best, we are alchemists, absorbing past hurt and transforming it into love. I don't understand my job. I don't understand my ministry as a job. I mean, I'm lucky I have a job, but the job is not necessary for my identity as minister. I am a minister with or without the job. And I'm going to say not all clergy agree with me. I've heard many clergy say this is just a job, but I also observe the way some clergy embody this call with grace and power, a way of putting their whole selves into it so that this is not about what you do, but about who you are in the world. I think of the Jain clergy people who brush away the bugs on the road as they walk so as not to kill anything inadvertently. Should we all do that? No. And why not? They provide a model, a witness, an invitation. It's a way of committing one's whole life to the creation of a better world. Clergy do this everywhere, and how they do it is wide and deep. Ministers like Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. standing in front of hungry crowds, inspiring them to become a force for justice. Hospice chaplains who hold hands and gather family in prayer. Gurus who sit in silence for hours, welcoming others into that silence, to be silence with them. Thousands of parish ministers who preach a new world every Sunday. Priests who walk up to women and girls they think are being trafficked and offer them a way out. Campus ministers who pray with football teams before games. Taoist priests who ensure family, their loved ones, are in a better place. I think of Father Dan Berrigan standing on the steps of St. John the Divine, calling wagers of war to cover themselves in a sackcloth and ashes as they ascend the stairs on their way to being honored for their service. I think of Buddhist priests who chant in sanghas of nonviolence. I think of imams who bring water to thirsty children on war-ravaged streets. I think of cadres of multi-faith clergy in every city who demonstrate authentic partnership across a wide divide, embodying possibility for all the world to see. You don't need to be ordained, and you don't need to be American. Ministers around the globe are holding up this piece of the sky, bearing witness to a new world as they always have. Through history, clergy were the ones who taught others to read and write. They wrote the scriptures, copied the scriptures, illustrated the scriptures for centuries. They often kept the histories, were the teachers, ran the hospitals, and for a long time they were the scientists. They still bless our babies, mark our coming of age, witness our marriages, pray for our sick, and bury our dead. Ministry has an element of self-sacrifice, being held to high standards. John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church, once said, "Every Sunday I set myself on fire and the people come to watch me burn." A friend told me last weekend she didn't like a minister she once had after he told the story of being on a plane and pretending to be asleep when the woman next to him was seeking ministry of some kind. If he had been a lawyer or a doctor and a random woman was seeking legal or medical advice, the friend would have understood the lack of engagement. But ministers are for the people. There's an expectation that we belong to everyone all the time. I was recently asked about how I engage in self-preservation when I'm asked to hold so much pain. How do you set a boundary so as not to drown in it? And my answer is, I don't. I let myself drown. I am willing to feel all the pain, to absorb all the fear. I am here for that. That is not a popular answer. That's not a 2024 answer, but it is real. The boundary I set is on my time. I can't and I don't try to be everywhere all at once, but when I'm there, I am all in. Because the world is sparking and spitting, and I'm afraid it's going to ignite. Because religion's influence and the presence of ministers in public life are shrinking. At the same time, the need is increasing. Because we don't need a ministry of siloed, hyper-boundaried individuals, but of porous communities leaning in, absorbing pain, transforming it into love and action, held accountable by systems grounded in justice. Ministry is wide and deep, and I am here for it. And I'm grateful to have so many partners right here who are also mirrors and alchemists, experimenters and companions in private commitments and public ministry, serving and leading as we together build the world we dream about, where love is at the center of everything. And that's what today is about. It is about all of us in this ministry together, telling the story, providing our blessing, committing to this new world.